Welcome to Swarf and Chips. This is what's coming up on today's show. However, we've got a full house because Colin, Joe and myself are joined by Mark Jones, the Managing Director of Leader Chuck Systems. Thank you for joining us on the show, Mark.
Oh, thanks very much for inviting me.
I've got to ask you though, Mark Jones, you're not the brother of Paul Jones, are you?
No, certainly not.
No.
Don't do that to the few, man.
We're just checking.
No nepotism.
Right, okay.
And you're not in the family either.
No.
Just checking. All right, Mark, putting you under some pressure, as I always do, can you describe your company and what you do in 1 minute?
Yeah, I'll do my best for you. Leader Chuck Systems is an old established company. We began in 1951. Our company founder, John Leader, started the company then. So we're over 65 years old. We've been concentrating in the work holding, work clamping areas. I joined the company in '92. I'm presently the managing director and taking the company on from since I was appointed.
John's still involved though, isn't he, I understand?
Yes, John's still involved, as much as he wants to be.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So we are going to look at some demonstrations and find out a little bit more about the company because there's a lot of brands that we can cover and we can't do it all in one show. No. Can we find out a little bit more about the setup, like where are you based and who's there?
Sure. Yeah, we're Midlands based, Midlands UK. We always have been since I've been with the company. We have a number of engineers that work for Leader Chuck Systems. We're a small company, but we have some engineers, works-trained engineers. We have administration staff, we have distribution staff, and some manufacturing expertise too.
So you've got international backup as well as being from the Midlands and having your specialist engineers as well.
We have, yes. I mean, because of the brands that we represent, and I guess there's approaching 20 of them, and they're from all the continents, we can rely on their technical backup too, as well as our own. As well as.
So your website, you've just invested in the website. I think it's brilliant, quite honestly. I want to compliment you. It's simple. If anyone wants to know, what Chuck to go for, homepage, it's all there, isn't it?
It's so simple. I've actually ordered Chuck this morning. But all you do, choose Chuck, how many jaws, stroke, and it's just intuitive all the way down, and then you get that final product. Essentially, it's so easy to use.
Yeah, it's taken a long time to get to where we are, but equally we've put in our knowledge, our expertise of what the clients want, how they find the product, the work holding product they want, whether it's a chuck or a vice.
We say that because you mentioned 20 partners, but you've actually got 50 different product groups.
Yeah, certainly. If you click on products on our website, there's 50 different options. Majority of them are work holding, but we have some others too, but all sorts of ways of clamping things, whether that's in jaws, in collets, in ice, in indexing chucks, quick change, as well as many.
So in a nutshell, what you're saying is you can go out to any company, any size, and provide them with a work holding solution.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I think with the experienced engineers that we have on tap at Leader, plus the wealth of information amongst our principals, whomever they are, we have great unsurpassed expertise, I would say, in clamping products.
Speaking of principles, can you talk us through some of these?
Yeah, I certainly can. I've just brought in some of the smaller items today, and we'll touch on them, and I'll tell you a little bit about what they are.
Also, if you could, because there's quite a few, a little bit about what they are, but who they're aimed at as well, if you don't mind. So for people who are watching,
I can do that certainly.
Right, let's go on to this piece.
Okay, that is a diaphragm from a diaphragm chuck. If you imagine that's the front bit that sits on the chuck, that diaphragm, what happens with that is to activate it, it flexes, it distorts. And when it distorts, the jaws that are sitting on top of it, they will open up. Those are the jaws, yeah? And they will open up slightly and allow you to take the component out and put the next component in. very good for this type of component where we want to machine a bore relative to the pitch line of the teeth in the spline. So we can clamp in the spline and we can machine accurately radially to
when you
match
say
that
accurately, because microcentric are known for accuracy, what sort of tolerance is there?
Microcentric standard tolerance, they're, as you're probably aware, they're a US company. They also manufacture in Germany too. But their standard repeatability is 50 millionths of an inch.
Fairly accurate then.
But no, we can do better. If you want a super precision version, then it's 20 millionths of an inch.
I'm not sure what that is in our money, but it's accurate.
It sounds pretty good, doesn't it? It's, I doubt that there's any other chuck. Well, they claim that there's no other chuck that has that accuracy in the world.
So what else? Because that's quite a narrow market. What you've got there, with gear. Is there what other applications?
We've used. You can clamp internally too. We can do internal clamping, so internal splines. Very much used in the automotive industry where there's a vast amount of components. Because there's no moving parts, there's no ingress of swarf. All we're doing is deforming a diaphragm. So accuracy, longevity, yeah, it's a very very good chuck.
Now you mentioned made in the US, but also UK made product here.
Yeah, we Leader still have some of our original air chucks that John Leader designed back in the 50s. These are a self-contained air chuck. He designed them to replace key chucks on lathes before the advent of CNC, that was, so that you could get rid of a manual chuck and put a power-operated chuck on, so to get your productivity up. We still offer that today in small sizes, self-contained pneumatic power chucks of our own design. This particular product is a product that we launched around 10 or a dozen years ago. We launched it at a Mac show, and we were encouraged to enter it into an international award for innovation in work holding. Right. We came first. We won the award with this product. It's a very low profile chuck. That's the tallest chuck that we make. That's 38 millimeters tall. We move the key. If you imagine a manual chuck generally has a key at the side. Yep. When you activate that, on a table you can't turn the key. So we've moved the key to the top face, right, so that you can activate the open and close the jaws.
So I see. This one here is for a machining centre, correct?
Yes, it is.
So you're looking where Z-axis is a premium. You're taking the component lower to the table than the spindle. Yeah?
We are, yes. And you can notice when you turn that key, Joe, I think that the jaws move in two different speeds. Yeah. We have a clamping stroke, and we have a much faster stroke that just gets the jaws out the way, so that the operator can get the component out and the blanks in.
Designed and manufactured here in the UK?
It's designed and manufactured by Leader. It's manufactured in Birmingham, yes.
So moving on, I notice here the zero clamp.
Oh yes.
Present for you?
Yeah. This is a 0-point clamping system that uses pullback studs. It's activated, it's opened with air, switch the air off, and die springs inside will then pull this back onto the taper to maintain great accuracy.
Right, so even if the air goes off, it's still being clamped?
It's got it all the time. Okay. What you would typically have is a number of these pots on your milling table. Then if you had a workpiece or a fixture, you would have this screwed into either of those for loading your workpiece onto the table for machining. Naturally, the repeatability is, I think, two microns, right. And the speed of changing from one workpiece to another is...
Yeah, that's the beauty. I think these excel in horizontals, don't they?
They do.
Where you just literally open the door, put the airline on, parts release, parts are back on, shut the door and go. Yeah,
yeah, they really do. And this is a market that we're more latterly into. When I tell you that we've been going 60 odd years, you know, this is one of our newer products, but it's certainly where work holding is developing.
It takes the skill out of loading a component, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
You get your repeatability
and therefore the cost Yeah.
Sure.
Profits up for the customer.
Next one I notice here, multi-spindle collet.
It is a multi-spindle
I'll
collet.
take that from you.
Thank you. Yeah, you've spotted that well, Colin.
Never in doubt.
It's a multi-spindle collet with a difference. The customers that we have that have specifically multi-spindle autos,
So Wickman's?
Wickman's,
Right.
yeah, they often tell us about changing from one job to another takes half a day.
Yeah.
And what has been developed here is this is in effect a collet, but the front piece comes out with a gun. So you would put a gun into it, you'd collapse the back, pull it out. The collet body stays in the machine. So all the time that the user would have spent removing all the collet bodies, that doesn't happen anymore. He changes over as quickly as removing that and putting in the next size.
Gotcha.
To complement that, we have an adjustable feed finger system as well that sits behind, so that you can as that wears, you can turn it a few threads and bring the diameter down, so you get more life out of your feed finger system.
Oh, gotcha.
Can you just quantify that, Mark? So if you've got I don't know, let's say Whitman 6, a 6 spindle. Thank you. What's the saving if they're using traditional collets or using that one?
Time-wise,
Yeah.
well, these will just the collets will change over. I would say, if you took 30 seconds for each collet to change it over. Your feed finger system would take a little longer. But there you're probably, if you said that you could change the whole machine, I would say in 30 minutes.
Wow.
Right, because you said half a day.
Yeah, I think that's what
So
people
great.
tell us.
That's the biggest criticism of a cam auto, if you like. It's
Yes,
the set of time.
is the changeover. Yes,
Gotcha.
and couple that with our bar feeders.
Yeah.
That we
KUKA
have.
Giovanni.
KUKA Giovanni, which we've done a nice
Watch this
video
space for
on.
video. Yes, yes.
And we can feed the bar from the back. We can put it into our feed finger, into our quick change collet system.
Gotcha.
So there's some innovation there.
Yeah. Now, I'm very brief on the KUKA Giovanni, single spindle, multi-spindle.
Yes.
And one thing that came out of that video was they run dry.
They do, yeah,
So
absolutely. They run dry and they reach diameter capacities that none of our competitors.
120 mil, if I remember.
Yeah,
right.
120
Okay.
mil. Shapes, they'll do all the regular profiles, round and hexagon, but they do square and rectangles.
And oval.
And oval, yes. You're doing your homework too. So, I mean,
But I think that's a case of watch this video, it's coming soon.
it definitely, yeah.
I notice here your Carve Smart, which ties in with the orange vice, is that correct?
Yeah. A vice that we bring in from the US is from Orange Vice from California. They've standardised on the Kerf Smart quick change jaw platform, which you see there. This enables the jaws to be changed without opening the vice wide.
Okay.
So it's a dovetail system, and if we lift these plungers here, then you can just slide out the vice jaw and slide your next one in. It typically, without this system, you'd have to open the jaws wide enough to get in at the bolts that retain. But of course, there's no bolts here.
Gotcha. And it's got locating pins. We can't see there, but
no, you can have with a locating pin. That will give you the repeatability. Then you won't slide it out. You'll take it out from the front then,
right, gotcha.
Because the location pin makes sure you put the jaw in the right way round, and gives you the repeatability.
It's a good idea, that, but how simple?
How simple, yeah. Absolutely.
But a lot of these ideas and some of the other videos we did, it is just simple ideas.
It is, and Orange Vice have this exclusivity on their systems, on their vices.
And also very strong on their social media, Instagram and things like that. So
yeah, it's really taken off, Orange Vice. It's high quality, and I would certainly recommend people go to their website and look at the video of these vices being manufactured.
Well, talking of vices, what's this one here?
That vice is a multi-axis. It's just an example because we've only got a small table to fill here.
Yeah, we did run out
You've
of
got a
room.
lot of brands as well.
But yeah, that's one of the vices that we bring in from the manufacturer Humga. That's a multi-axis vice, but there's a whole suite of vices those.
Because you actually manufacture your own vice as well.
We manufacture a multi-vice, a strip, that enables you to put many components in a row.
You could put them in a row in the X and the Is that as
Yes,
well?
yes.
Oh,
Well, you would
sorry,
use
why,
multiple
sorry.
strips
Yeah.
to fill your table, clamping one component on the back of the jaw in front.
Just on that multi-axis vice, would that be purely for grinding, or was there a milling application as well?
You could use it for milling. There's no reason why you couldn't. I mean, because it can give you you can set the angle,
The touch,
so that it matches the cut that you want to make.
And tell us about the power chuck.
Yeah, this is a power chuck I brought along, one of a huge suite of power chucks. We do them with 1 jaw, 2 jaw, 3 jaw, 4 jaw, 6 jaw, all standard products. We do them with standard jaw stroke, long jaw stroke, open centre, closed centre.
Mark, this is what's on your website, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. If you go to the products and then power chucks, you drill all the way down. We ask you the questions about what characteristics would you like your chuck to have. You drill all the way through and you end up with the chuck
one
that
you need.
matches. Yeah, the one.
It's so easy to use that I've ended up ordering one.
So what would you say for leader chuck systems? What's your USP? I know you've got your work holding, you've got your rotary tables and everything. What's the USP of the company?
I think what we can do with our years of experience, and me and my colleagues can offer solutions to customers for clamping and feeding machines, improving their productivity. We have an array of experts from around the globe who all funnel into the UK and through Leader, that we can pass on those experiences to the UK precision engineering market.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll put all the details to be able to contact Leader Chuck Systems on the screen, and thank you so much for joining us all.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah,
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
great insight.
Before you go, we always, because you've been on Swarf and Chips, we give everybody a mug. So, do you like tea or coffee?
I like coffee.
Coffee. Your next coffee has to be in that.
So, thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Adam, you're a Swarf and Chips fan. Do you enjoy watching?
I am, yeah. I've been watching it for a few years now.
And what do you like about it?
Finding out about new products that are on the market, and a lot of good information on there.
Is it one of your regular Friday activities?
Yeah. I tend to tune in quite regularly, see what's going on the channel.
Good. And tell us just a little bit about your company.
We are part of a group of companies called the Hyde Group, predominantly dealing with aerospace components. Big ranges of components, from really big components to really small components.
I watch Swarf and Chips. It drops into my mailbox on a Friday. It gives me something to watch while I'm eating my lunch. I like the regularity of it.
What would you pick out of it that's good, that's different? Do you like the technology? Do you like seeing what other engineers are up to? What's your sort of the grip for you, or the grab?
I like the different topics every week. I like that it shows us the future. It gives us an insight into what everybody else is up to. It's a bit of humour there as well, so I have a bit of a smile when I'm watching it. Yeah, it's good.
Next up, 10 videos in 10 minutes. Thanks for joining us, Paul. Now, 10 minutes, 10 videos. We're being strict this week. So,
what is nepotism, before we start?
oh yeah, because of I don't know.
Ask your brother and your sister.
Boy band.
Right. Okay then.
And do we get to keep this?
No. You speak to your brother later.
You you pick it up. If you can pick it up, you can have it. How's that?
First minute gone.
Freddy Vac. They have just launched a brand new vacuum, slightly more affordable, but without the compromise. What have they done?
Well, you've done it, and there we are. It's the quality and the technology you expect from Freddy, but without the cost associated with some of their premium products. But really, there's no compromise really. They've redesigned it, they've re-engineered the CAD models and what have you, and make it cheaper to produce. The only it's not a downside at all, but it's gravity fed. So when you're looking to take the fluid out of the Freddy back into the machine sump or away for waste, it's gravity fed rather than pumped out.
So really, if that's not a problem and an issue to you, you may as well get this new Freddy.
Yeah,
and they
exactly.
use the same filter bags and all the accessories that the other products do, don't they?
All,
So
all the bags, all the
compatibility.
accessories. Yeah, exactly right.
And
Exactly
check out
right.
his analogy between the Range Rover and the Land Rover. Is that correct?
Yeah.
No, and the Evoque, yeah.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. All the parts are common. So if you've got, it might be a second Freddy. You don't need to buy.
Okay, we're finishing there. Now, I love this next video. I know it was made by you, Colin. It's for KUKA ZND. I will never go to an event ever again. You must watch this video without the fence barriers and ever look at them the same way. Talk to us about KUKA and what they're doing.
Can I just clarify that? I've not done this section before. How long have I got?
So it's finished.
Okay,
50 seconds now.
1 minute!
That told me.
Goodness
So,
me.
yes, we did a video for KUKA at ZND in Rotherham, ZND UK. It's an amazing facility, but and I've got to get this right, innovation through automation. Brilliant example of how they've streamlined the process, automated it, and they've got the robots moving the fences. So anybody who's going to a festival, an event, anything like that, you'll see the gates, the fences there, or the barriers, they're all made here.
They used to do 80 up in a shift up to 1,000, didn't they?
I was
Yeah.
about to say that
No,
80
they didn't.
from
They
80 to
didn't.
500, but it's 2 lines.
Yeah, 400% increase in productivity. Some people might say, well, what about job losses and things like that? But that's not the case. They've actually taken on more people because they're producing so much more stuff.
Because the quality of the products is so good,
Yeah.
they've sold more, haven't they, to new customers?
Yeah, it's just a...
And you being one of them,
fantastic
because
facility.
you've got them in your garden instead of your fences now.
No, I'm not going to set the fence on that.
Rough area. Rough area.
The neighbours are complaining.
Yeah, it's only because I can get out.
So Hurco, they've got a range of VM machines. It's 5, 10, 25 axis, but they sell a lot of machines. Why are they so popular?
The VM range, interestingly, has been available since 2002, which is what Dave Waghorn was telling me, which is actually, well, what's that, 15 years, if it gets the math right.
Yeah.
The range is extensive. You can see there is the VM30. That was one of the machines we actually looked at. The idea behind this machine was it had a much bigger working envelope for a fairly small footprint machine. But I think one of the things that Dave wanted to get across in this video is that a lot of suppliers of machine tools often bring machines in very highly specified, and engineers don't need that. So the VM range comes in as a kind of an entry-level machine, and you build it up if you want through spindle coolant, if you want rotary axes and stuff like that. Very, very competitively priced, a subcontractor's machine, and very popular.
But you still got the control, the new control, haven't
The
you?
new control, which again is very easy to use, and they sell over 200 of these machines a year, which is pretty incredible, really. The VM range, when you consider they've got lots of other machines in there in the Hurco range as well.
I'll get told off. I like the fact that you said you start and grow with Hurco as well, which I thought was quite nice from, progression of machines.
Nice point.
Next video.
HK, so over to you, Joe. 1 minute.
Thanks, Colin. It's a collaborative event with Carl Zeiss and HK, but both sides of the HK, they offer additive and subtractive manufacturing, and it was good actually. We go to these places, normally get aerospace, defence, automotive, and sectors like that. But the nature of 3D printing and some of the Carl Zeiss products, there's all sorts. There was medical, there was jewellery manufacturers, there was designers. But essentially, they were saying you could design a product, you could print the product, and then you could put it on an EDM machine, remove some material, and then measure it on the Carl Zeiss machine. So there's a good cohesion there.
They're based in the same place. I couldn't quite work out. Is it across the road?
Opposite, yeah, it works really well. You could, literally opposite the road.
You don't hear much of Carl Zeiss. I personally don't.
No, I don't.
But when you looked at the range of machines that they seem to have in their showroom, it was pretty extensive, and it's a massive company.
Things, is that right?
As well as that,
Yeah,
aren't
okay.
they?
Yeah, CMM,
an optical, and no, I thought it was a good video, Joe, and I think it would have been a good event, especially if you're an engineer that wanted to see all aspects of.
Very good question then.
No, I would say the question was
1
poor,
minute,
but the
gentlemen.
answering was good.
Thanks, Colin. Now, next up, the Kerf Plasmaster, the plasma cutter. What is the USP of this in the industry?
Kerf Developments have been selling plasma cutters, oxy-fuel machines for many, many years. But they recognise that there's a need in the marketplace for companies that don't necessarily need production, so they don't need to be using a machine like this for 12 hours a day to cut material, but they do need it an hour a day or 3 hours a week or
So
whatever it might
they're not
be.
subcontracting.
So for £25,000, and they highlight the price of this machine, you've got an efficient plasma cutter which can cut up to, they say about 15 millimetres of material, which is pretty run of the mill, and that's kind of what most people would need, or a bit less.
What sort of materials are they?
It could be any type of material on this machine. Yeah, they will cut various materials, but you see. Go on, Joe, you were going to say.
Is that the only compromise, the thickness of the material?
Pretty much, really, yeah. I mean, they've kind of like value engineered the machine, really, to a specific market. So there's certain sizes, they use the popular Bernie control system and drive, so they'll sell a lot of them.
Yeah. Okay, Asquith Butler, the BRAY machine, model BRAM 4022. Talk to me about this machine.
That's where they let me out of the country for the first time. Czech Republic, fantastic facility. We're actually standing in the machine. They let us see the internal workings because they're so proud of what they do. But Paul,
you had more trouble getting back in the country, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, yes.
It's a very high-speed machine. Look at the speed of that head. 5-axis contouring. The machine has 3G acceleration. So when you're trying to cover large parts, maybe do structural parts, composite boards. High-speed machining, that construction where you've got that kind of
rigid.
that moving upper beam gives you a lot of rigidity, very high speed.
I'll tell you what I noticed
in the UK.
The spindle's 29 kilowatt. Why do you need 29 kilowatt if you're machining soft materials?
Because
they don't want to be limited just to the soft. I mean, they're known for the sort of composites and things like that, but that's a market they want to.
That's where they're going these days. People are trying to position these machines. They've missed a market of machining more slightly harder materials by just focusing on the composite market. Now they're going into aluminiums and other difficult materials.
Quite often, 29 kilowatt. Sometimes the speed's reduced, but still 24,000 RPM.
Correct, and it's sold Asquith and Butler in UK.
So Adero, they purchased an Akari HMC. What I love about this, and it is a brilliant video. We've actually been talking about this guy already, but they're forward.
No, the
not
guy on the left,
not
not you.
Yeah. Don't start the minute yet, but they are forward thinking. They're actually thinking about a purchase before they get the contract. So it's like they're thinking about their demand beforehand. Why is this?
Let me tell you, going one step further than that, you spotted that there are actually things that we couldn't film that this business is doing that is even further advanced and automated than what they offer here. But the story here as it goes is the Akari HMC machining centre with it's kind of got an adaptable tool changer, so you can expand the amount of tools that you have on the machine, you can expand the pallets that you have on this machine. So it means that when they're satisfying the need of a customer contract where they only need a twin pallet horizontal with say 120 tools, but they don't know that in 2 months' time they might get an order for a part that requires 6 pallets, 240 tools, and with the Akari machine and not many other machines in the market from White House Machine Tools, you can put the extra pallets and the tools on, and that's the story. Yeah,
it's like ultimate flexibility, but there's no compromise to start, is there? It's not like you're buying an inferior product that you're building up. You're building a premium product, just making it better.
And if you want to know how a machine's built, listen to this guy because he talks about the construction, the speed, the agility.
He sounded like he wanted a job to me, that Jack Wilson. He knows his machine tools.
Well, I must say, I recommend anyone to watch this video. It's really informative.
Who's Jack and Jill?
First Precision Carbide. They bought their first Sodic machine because they're bringing. Will you stop talking?
Sorry.
They're bringing work in house, and actually they're thinking about buying another machine. Why is this?
Yeah, it's quite interesting really, because Mark was talking to this gentleman at a recent event, and they bought their first die sink from Sodic in June 2016, and it was to kind of bring back work in-house that they were subcontracting out. But they were also using it instead of their form grinder to do the operation.
Interesting that.
Yeah, and it's basically meant that they've had to go on and buy a second machine because it's changed the whole way the business operates. So it's a good story. It's a good story.
What I like about it, obviously, you've got the performance of the Sodic, but 98% export. We talk about Brexit.
It was 99. But yeah.
Okay, I'll give them 1%. He must have exaggerated. But no, 99% export. That's a great story for the UK. We talk about Brexit. We talk about the price of the pound. It just goes to show.
How much is the price of a pound?
A pound.
but it was. I mean, you don't hear many companies that are 99 or 98 or 99%.
Whichever it is, it's high.
Beyond Europe, around the globe. So we're not talking about Europe here. We're talking about beyond that.
So my penultimate question in the 10 videos, 10 minutes.
I can say how many videos are left?
2.
3 left.
2. HK Technologies. Now they represent Mitsubishi, and this is really good because it shows the back, you know, story of Mitsubishi and who they are and how big of a company they are, don't they?
Yeah, when this video came about, I visited HK in Rugby, who supply, like you say, Mitsubishi Electric, amongst others. And I said, how big is the... We all know Mitsubishi trucks, air conditioning. And I said, how big is Mitsubishi EDM? And he said, you know what, I'll take you. And that's how this trip came about. We went to Germany, and I've been all around the world looking at these facilities, but the Mitsubishi facility... You've got a gag coming up.
I have.
The Mitsubishi facility is one of the best facilities I've ever been to.
Really?
Unbelievable.
It was incredible to think that they'd actually sold, is it 60,000 machines in 50 years? 60,000 machines. I mean, that's incredible. You weren't there. That must have been footage that was supplied by them to see the whole of the demo area be built up. Was it correct?
Yeah, yeah.
But it is the extensive, you know, size of the business.
It's
incredible.
a big business. Let me tell you.
Well, we all know it as a home brand, don't we?
Wonderful canteen.
Yeah, you had all of it, didn't you?
Serving Japanese
You do it to yourself. Right, last video, Comet with a K, 100th anniversary. What are they celebrating?
That was on Mark's video, so I'll let you do that.
Thanks, Colin. Yeah, this is brilliant. This is 3D printing of cutting tools, essentially, which of course Joe's had a lot of involvement in. But my questioning on this is it the future? You know, does it take longer to make the tool than it would do if you were to make them in the more traditional way? So therefore, is it as cost effective?
It's not down to speed. When I used to design and manufacture milling cutters going back some 20 years, and there was always a compromise regarding, you know, but the performance of the tool and the manufacturing process to get to the end result.
Yeah.
And quite often you're trying to get through coolant to an edge, but you couldn't because that'd be going through an area where you couldn't have a hole, or you couldn't get enough teeth in to get the feed rate correct. But 3D printing kind of eliminates all that, because you can put the through coolant channels where you want them to be. You can get more teeth in. So it is good. Is every milling body going to be 3D printed? No, it's not.
If you 3D
for a
print it,
performance tool, it's fabulous.
It's going to give that strength, though, because we were chatting to someone, guy we went to share on, he was saying, I don't think you 3D print certain components because you're never going to get that strength.
And we keep going because it's the last one.
I disagree with that, if I'm honest.
Okay,
Yeah, you get roughly 90% of the strength.
And
Yeah.
I also think you're right. The key points that I took out of this was more teeth. You can play with the spiral more, the spiral angles and the direction of the coolant, which are the key characteristics.
You're machining
to getting
areas.
better tool life.
You're machining areas that you can't always machine from the outside, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay then. So, Colin, a little bit about the network. We've completed 10 videos now.
Yes.
Where have you been?
Well, you might have missed me, Lyndsey, I'm sure you have.
Always.
Because they sent me overseas. I've been to Czech Republic, Germany, Italy, Globetrotter. Obviously trouble getting back in the country, but I'm back. Network. What do you want to know?
The network services.
Oh, we call them services, or I call them services, but what it is, I've got a guy come along, he's an investor, he's looking to put money into engineering companies, so invest in a company or even buy one. So anybody's looking for that, let me know.
Oh, that's good to know.
The other thing is, and you always hear how recruitment consultants are not that good. We've managed to get hold of one, and I've actually introduced him to some of my engineers, and they placed engineers in the company, so it comes very highly regarded. So if anybody's looking for an engineer, let me know, we can put you in contact.
Brilliant. News, what's the latest news?
News, lots of stuff going on. Holford, you can see here their video, Airlander 10, biggest aircraft in the world.
Nice helmet.
Thank you very much. And that's a Triple M, mobile mooring mast, manufactured by Holford in Bedford. Really impressive, and we're hoping, they had a test run of the Airlander 10. And
Did it crash?
No, don't say that. It was in the press that it crashed. It didn't crash, I can assure you. So it's very, very successful.
What is it?
It's a big, I don't know what it is. No, they moor that. So that actually holds the Airlander airship.
It's going to be used for things, you know, such as third world countries and things like that, where they need to get, you know, relief and things like that.
No, Paul's on about the Caterpillar. That's what
Oh,
Holford
sorry.
manufactured. So that's what that is. Anyway, moving on. Maylan, they've recently been on Swarford Chips, Maylan Engineering. So they make the Maylan Pallet Master, but they've also got a big subcontract shop as well. Really impressive.
Had some nice machines in there.
They do.
Nakamura's
They
and
could do some
Mazdas.
automation, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on swiftly. High-tech aerospace. Phone up, always busy. They bought some more machines, another EDM Sync and another Haas machine. So we'll be out there doing some videos soon. Teflon Turn, my friend Mick, he's going to be joining us soon. Actually, get to meet Mick. He's an absolute master of plastic, so he's just sent some up-to-date information on what he's been manufacturing. L&R Precision have just joined the MTD network. Now, cracking engineering company, loads of experience. They've done a vintage headset from motorbike. So that's a very interesting little story in there. So have a look at that.
EMFs, a headset. No?
Tumbleweed moment. Anyway, moving on. Precision aircraft surface treatment. Loftlock have bought them. So any surface treatment that you need, we did a video for them. Really impressive and going very well.
I was at Loftlock actually not so long ago, and that business is going extremely well. It was tough to start with, but after an acquisition, as it would be when you buy a company. But they've got some big plans at Loftlock.
They do, very impressive, those guys. A lot of aerospace stuff, but not just aerospace. And this new acquisition really opens up more markets to them, and it's just a great facility.
So Colin, what's next to finalise for the network?
Well, after the success, if I can say that properly, of the last network takeover, we've got 3 engineers coming to do another network takeover. So we've got Mick from Teflon, Masters of Plastic, great character, you met him as well, very entertaining guy. We've got Tim from MJ Allen, he's going to join us now. They've got a foundry, but they've also got some big machines, going to be talking to us about that. And then
They'll be one of the biggest manufacturers in the south east, wouldn't they?
Oh, will be, down in Mr. Dedman's neighbourhood in Kent. And then Beard and Fish have just joined MTD. They are, masters of gear cutting. They're going to come in and show us what they do.
Okay.
So watch this space for the next MTD Network takeover.
Thank you, Colin. It's been a pleasure to be on the
Does that mean we get a week off?
No.
Do you want me to come? Do you want the Holly and Fern?
No.
Holly and Fern. You
Not
just
Fern.
called yourself a girl.
More like,
That's a different,
Oh
that's a
dear.
different programme.
It's a good ending to the show. Right, okay, that's the end of the show. Thanks, guys. Thank you for watching Swarf and Chips. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. If you want to watch any previous episodes, click on the links here. And as we always say, keep those spindles turning.